Then give me a 1 to 10 review, a Dave Portnoy review of the event.
Dude, I would say for me a solid 10.
Okay, wow.
I'll give it a 10, dude.
Wow.
Like,
really?
Yeah.
Are you just buttering me up right now?
No, dude. The vibes are off the chart.
Okay.
Like, we were going back and forth on Instagram.
Yeah.
And I was just like, dude, there's like a big space for events to come in and like have like a younger crowd and just like more kickback, relax, but still an awesome course.
Yeah.
I feel like that's exactly what this is. Like,
Yeah.
like you come and everyone is just chill.
Yeah.
It's just good vibes all around. Everyone's hanging out.
That's kind of like
Love it,
initially year one, what our plan was. And obviously year one was very raw compared to this.
I couldn't even remember it. And Jack had to enlighten me last night because I couldn't, but there was a reason I couldn't remember you what.
Happened year one.
Didn't you do a couple like little special shrooms or something?
I did, and then I walked.
And then you were like staring at a tree
and stared at trees.
Yeah, literally. So Jack's playing guitar. That's actually how the show came to be. So year one, we're sitting around a campfire late at night. People there was no production to the event, but we're sitting down there, and all of a sudden, a camp of like 6 people and Jack playing guitar turned into like 30 people around a campfire with him playing. And I go, well, maybe we do a show next year. And I'm like, this is so electric. And I'm like, where is Brianna? And I see her come back like 2 hours later. And I was like, where have you been? She's like, oh, I was just looking at trees.
Yeah, that's why I couldn't remember it. I was like, what did we do year one? I don't remember at all. And then now I remembered. But I think that's right. Like, TACs are phenomenal. I love them. But they're like a mixture of an expo and a shoot, you know, with the amount of vendors there, which is super cool because you get to see so many things that like aren't in your local stores and things like that.
Depends on your local store.
Yeah, if you go to Nashville North,
Pump
you know,
station.
they got
code
everything.
Pump Station on podiumarcher.com, 10%. But no, I mean
this is like,
that was the goal.
You get to camp here, which some TACs do have, like Tennessee's TACs we just went to. You can camp at.
Yeah. I think they're trying to do that more as much as they can. It's just trying to find venues
Not quite.
that allow for it.
No.
Not only just allow for it, but have that much room. Because if
Yep.
3,000 people are trying to camp, or 4,000 people are
Yeah,
yeah.
you need a giant
Even
place.
if a third of them come, 1,000 people in the campground, we're not putting 1,000 people in this campground, you know?
There's one that's they're looking at that's outside of the Nashville area a little bit that actually has the capacity to have that many people.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping they pick it. But
Yeah.
we'll see.
Yeah, that would be
I've been
cool.
talking to Shaw about
Now,
it.
I heard that you have some great, are they ranges or archery clubs or whatnot in Utah? Yeah?
There's
what
some good
makes
ones.
them fun? Like, what makes them different? Because we have quite a few here. We've got Balboa. We've got Bear State here. We've got Alpine. I always say God and Run Club. Gun and Rod Club.
No, you
God
still
and
messed
Gun
it up.
Club.
Lemon
Rod and Gun
See,
Club.
now I'm messing it up. It is kind of a tongue twister.
So we've got quite a few, but like, what makes them fun, I guess?
So I would
What do they do
say
differently?
I can't speak as much for northern Utah because I haven't shot a lot of
Yeah.
the ranges up there, but I'm down in southern Utah, and so it's more of a desert landscape. Which a lot of the stuff I see on YouTube, a lot of people are shooting in the mountains and stuff, and so a lot more open shots.
Yeah.
My range personally, which is down in St. George, Utah.
Oh, I know
It's
it.
got-
I know it well.
We
I
have
do know it well.
we have an awesome 3D range out
Yeah.
there. But I would say all courses are unique. I would say what makes that one unique is it's pretty scenic. There's
Yeah.
red rock everywhere. Our club does a good job at making sure there's a variety of 3D targets. And then I also shot the range near Phoenix, Usury range in Arizona, and that one was killer.
Yeah.
An awesome little
Do you
range.
guys use any of like the rock? Do you do any shoots there, like hold shoots, or just like?
So the club
fun
does.
stuff?
The
Yeah.
club does shoots there.
Yeah. When you do, is it like all open stuff, or do you like use any of the topography in that rock to do?
There's
cooler stuff.
there's some cool shots within the topography, but I'll say one thing, like the shoot here, some of the windows you guys put together are sick. Like
Thank James for that.
like very
Yeah.
unique. And I think it's because you've gone to so many TACs and you've shot so much to where you have just a different eye for, hey, this shot would be sick. Like let's make it happen. And a lot of time goes into making those shots. I don't think people realize how much
or
time
the
and planning goes
science
into it.
behind it, like the knowledge of knowing like your bow's science. Because
Not
like
your bow,
or
but
everybody's, you
yeah.
know, like or the science of bows and arrow flight and whatnot. Because he'll look at a window and I'll look at a window, standing right next to him, and be like, "You can't make that shot. That is not possible." And he's like, "Yeah, you can. Watch." And he just makes it. I'm like, "Yeah, but what about my short arrow?" And I'm like, he's like, "Yeah, it'll just arc right in there. You know, you've got X amount of distance after that." And I'm looking at him like, "Okay, that's only like 10 yards. Like that's not enough." He's like, no, by the end of your flight, your arrow's dropping off. You're just going to drop right into the target. And sure as shit, it does. So he just has a lot of knowledge, which makes putting these courses together, I think, cooler for people.
Yeah.
Very nice.
I really bigging him up right now over there. His ego is just inflated.
I love it. Yeah,
Have you tried to-
keep buttering me up. I
Have you
love
tried
it.
to calculate how much time you have into setting up all this?
Oh, dear
It's
God.
impossible, dude. It would be impossible because it's like all 3 years add up to like what it is now, even on the courses. Because like a lot of those trail networks didn't even exist year one, and then like would build in some, build on that, and then like year two reuse some, like flip them, build new networks, and like so I don't know. It's a shitload, but. This year we were definitely more efficient. I'll say that. Last year we wasted a lot of time on stuff that we didn't need to. For example, like I went out and weed whacked the entire trails on all of them last year, and then I realized when I went to TAC and we were like the first one to shoot a trail, and there was like no work done. I mean, we were like blazing trails, and I realized that after 3 groups go through, it's all going to be friggin' dirt roads anyways.
Yeah.
So we saved a lot of time there and just like getting better. But yeah, that's one thing I think Brianna hit on is one thing I really like about this shoot in particular is a lot of the windows that you mentioned are designed to kind of educate people about their trajectory. So I think that's a part of archery that a lot of people overlook is like flight paths.
I've done it many times in a tree stand. When I was new at it, I would complain and like have to go in and cut down branches that I thought would be in my way, thinking I need to be able to see the full line of sight to this animal and its vitals and my windows that I have open to me. I'm like, no, really all I'm doing is putting myself more in the open and this animal can see me. When reality is like, you could just put your pin on that rock. You know the shape of a deer or a bear or whatever it is you're shooting at. Or on this piece of grass, like, okay, that piece of grass, I know it's gonna go right through there. And I think people get scared. They're like, my pin's on the rock, I'm gonna hit the rock. No, you're not. You're gonna arc right over the rock.
And that's a shot that I've done. Like I just shot a mountain reed buck like a month or two ago, and that's exactly the shot it was. You know, I could see the top of its back, but I knew the trajectory and the hill curve, like I would hit where I needed to. But you got to learn that.
Yeah.
That's something that without a lot of reps, you just probably don't know. You're like, well, I can't hit him. Even though you can, you know, like, so I don't know. Yeah, I think that's really cool. And
It's like the bear on the beast trail that you took us to.
That's the one I'm not going to be able to shoot beast this year. I shot the other 2, which is phenomenal. And I'm okay that I'm not going to shoot it, but I do want to drive up there and just shoot it once because
you haven't shot that one?
No.
Oh, we'll go.
No, because we did podium the other day together, and you guys went on beast.
Yeah.
Which my knees they're okay with not doing beast this year. But I do want to shoot that shot.
Although,
just because.
You know, so Chuck with his watch, we had guessed we didn't have time to map out podium, like as far as distance. But I was like, I bet it's 1.75 miles. Chuck did it on his watch, is 1.75 miles.
Oh,
Is that
dang.
exact?
Good guess.
But I actually think total elevation change, I think podium actually probably has more than beast. Because beast just goes all the way up and all the way down, whereas like podium's constantly going up and down.
I shot podium and I shot beast. And
Yeah.
You kept saying that it's like, oh, there's so much up and down, but I was like the whole time shooting podium, like we've been walking uphill for 10 targets. And now we're walking down.
On beast.
You like when you get to the sign on podium?
All the way up and hit 10, and then you start working your way
Oh,
back
from
down.
the Sasquatch, yeah.
Whereas with your beast, you're up and down and up and down and up and down. You're not changing elevation.
Yeah, exactly. I love the section at the end of the podium course. I love the section where it's the downhill, super steep bedded deer, turn around, super steep up at the bison, then the little bastard bear, and then I love the ending.
Rock. I hate standing on a freaking rock to shoot. Man.
No, dude,
That was a funny one.
He said the same thing when we went and shot beast. He said the same exact thing.
Dude, I drew back and I felt good, and then I started thinking about my feet, and I got all wobbled.
Yeah.
This
And of
dude,
course you
he
put
was
a
so
tiny
scared in
target
Tennessee.
there.
He gets on this rock and he's like, I do not like this.
Well, I always I don't
Yeah.
know what it is about it, and I probably need to stand on something that moves and practice that a lot. Because anytime I get on a really hard surface that's not flat, I feel like my equilibrium's all over the place. And then
You gotta get one of those balls that Paige uses.
Yeah.
Those things are crazy to stand on.
I know.
I want somebody to hold my shirt because I could not. I like mentally it would just.
We'll hold your hand, Josh.
Yeah.
You know,
We'll
when you
hold
stand
your
on
hand.
dirt, same thing. Totally fine.
Yeah.
Throw me on rock and I'm like.
Yeah. Yeah.
So did you lose any arrows this weekend?
When we went to the
Oh.
bear target, I smoked one, and then we swapped bows.
We
yesterday.
smoked one of each other's.
We,
Oh yeah, you told me
we traded
that.
off.
James like I hadn't lost any targets. Then we go over there and I shoot them all in, and then I grab his bow and then I shoot 3 of my arrows straight into the steel. I was like, well,
So Ty shot one into steel. I shot one of his into steel. And then Taylor Hawk shot 2 of my arrows into the
jeez.
steel.
yeah, I went back to did you take my tips off my arrows?
I had to.
Yeah, I knew it.
I knew
I
it.
go to grab more arrows. I'm like,
No, you know what? I take that back. I actually did not take the tips off. They all unscrewed, and David actually, shout out to David, supplied me with field tips.
oh,
So
good,
I actually
good.
didn't, but
So I just don't know where my tips. That's
correct.
How do
Yeah.
they
equal with me.
lose themselves?
Bruce,
Well, you see,
what do you think about the field tips with gaskets? This is a conversation I want to have. The ones that don't
You
come
mean my
loose.
field tips?
Do they have gaskets?
Yeah.
Why does Bruce Marshall from Bow and Arrow Shop hate gasket field tips so much?
No idea. It doesn't make any sense.
Do you think that's a
Do you
poor
shoot
take
gasket
by
field tips?
Bruce?
I do think
Yeah,
it's a
you know
poor
what
take
you're
by
talking
Bruce. And Bruce does not have a lot of poor takes.
No.
Most of his takes are excellent.
Very good
But for
takes.
one reason or another. And I think it's that mindset, and maybe it's his age or whatnot, where it's like, hey, it works this way, so I don't care.
Mm.
I think that's really more what it is. Like, just put some wax on your threads, and it doesn't matter. And that's what most guys that don't shoot O-ring gaskets would do. Now,
I don't
can
want to do
say
that all the
every
time.
once in a while, an O-ring gasket will push out on the point a little bit and make your point crooked.
So is that
You just
the
gotta
that
back it out and put it back in, and it's
is
fine.
is that the downside you would say?
I'd say that's the downside. Or if you're shooting like an Axis style arrow with a hit insert where it's carbon and you're screwing it to carbon, a lot of times it'll cut the ring off of the O-ring, the exterior edge, because it doesn't fold in like it does on metal. So if you're actually going directly against carbon, might not be ideal in that scenario.
I'm gonna be honest, I didn't understand anything. you
I
said
was
about
just
that.
as he was saying that in my head, I literally
You're
before
trying
you
to
said,
look like you know what you're talking
but no,
about.
but
I was not. I'm
No.
over here looking
Alright.
like, what
Alright.
the fuck?
We all know what a 5mm
Yes.
204 arrow
Yes.
is.
Yeah.
I call
I
them
do.
skinnies, regulars, and in betweens.
In betweens, then.
Yes,
It would be in
James's.
yeah.
So you know in between,
'Kay.
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
A lot. That original in between arrow,
People are gonna think I'm an absolute idiot and wonder
Was-
how in the world I'm on a YouTube channel.
the Easton Axis,
They are.
right? And what they made was an insert that just goes down inside the arrow, but
Uh-huh.
doesn't come up to the end of the arrow. So when you
Oh.
screw the point in, it's actually screwing down
Into that
inside and
insert,
resting
inside.
against carbon.
Ah,
When you
okay,
do that,
okay.
a lot of people notoriously
I'm
won't
grasping.
deburr the carbon on the inside, so there's like an edge. When you try to screw a rubber gasketed field point into it, it like cuts the edge of the rubber off.
I get it now.
Owen?
So that
I do
that's
get it
probably where
now.
that came from in that era is like
Yeah.
that's stupid and people go, oh well, my field point's messed up or something like that.
Yeah.
That's too much work.
Right
I
then,
just
I
wanna
had
glue my
this.
insert in.
I had this thought as he was going on this spiel. I just in my head before you chirped, I went, "I love when he does this." I was just looking at him, go, "I love when he does this."
Consequently,
Yeah.
like you want to deburr those arrows, period, regardless. Of
Like I just keeps
Yeah.
going on this. I love it.
because it's not going to go in all the way.
Yeah.
It gets
Yeah.
really close, and you look down, and it's like, why is there a little gap here? It's because you didn't deburr the inside of the carbon when you went. To
That
put
means
the inside.
clean it out. Clean it out.
It's not cleaning it. It's actually sanding it. So when you make
Sand
a
it out.
This
That
is this whole section's insane. I love this part of the pot.
pot.
No, I don't think so. This is the stuff that they. Yeah, I
If you
lo-
look at the inside of the arrow
Yeah.
before you inserted it, there'd be an edge that almost goes up
Mm.
when you cut it with a saw, and you have to clean that edge off. Now,
You
can
were
take a
saying
knife
take a
blade and
drill or
deburr it,
something like.
But if you
Yeah,
look
and
at
then
like
wood goes.
if you look at like an Axis, when they send you those inserts, there's like this little sanding foil that comes in it, and it's for cutting the edge off because you'll crack your arrow when you go to put your point in and hit something hard because there's not a little recession there.
Yeah.
That's why you need to do that.
Yes.
Save a little
Do you
step
build your own
that everyone's
arrows?
bored about.
I do.
no, I love
I was
it.
actually
That-
fletching some in the truck.
Oh,
before I showed
wonderful. I have a sponsor for that. It's Brittnie Jean Outdoors.
I was like,
And I'm gonna have her start building my arrows. You know.
Coupon code for a website.
Coupon code is Brittnie doesn't have a website.com.
What a crazy take. What a crazy take.
Something I think she needs to start working on.
Amazons.com.
Yeah, I'm just gonna have Brittnie build them for me. So I did used to back in Florida. I'd build a few arrows back in the day. Not many.
Long time
Not
ago.
many. Yep, that was a long time ago.
It's about the easiest do-it-yourself thing to do.
Quite
Just
literally.
make your own arrow.
Yeah, I suppose.
And you'll also learn a lot.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Yeah. Mostly I think it's the anxiety I get when like say fletches fall off or things like I had the issue with the fletches sticking to wraps and whatnot. And then having to go through and, you could just ask an expert like, hey, what glue sticks best to wraps or something.
You can still do
But
that. You could still do that.
I could.
And you buy it and you try it.
Or
you
I
go,
just send
like
it to
this,
you
and
so
I
you
like
can
it.
make some content and then, I'll just say, hey, thanks for building my arrows. Here's a pair of free American Eagle jeans. And
Yeah, because I don't get paid in money. I do get paid in random
Brittnie
products when I
comes
come
here
to- It's
and-
like going to your grandparents' house.
Oh, gosh.
You know?
I am
literally,
kind of
she
like her
leaves with
sugar
more
daddy.
shit than
sorta.
you would not believe.
I don't know how many get home with it all.
Yeah.
You're gonna find out.
I got a hat, a lighter, a pair of pants, 3 dresses for this trip. Might be
Who got a
four.
dress for you?
Yeah,
There are a few I just, I gave up on the dream that there will be a day I fit back in them. And so I'm just passing them along. I think I've worn one of them. 4 of them are still brand new. They're all 4 the same dresses, just all in different colors. So we're going to pass them along to a smaller version of myself. We may look similar, but we certainly are not.
Very nice.
Yeah. So
What a nice, just fun, nice bunch right now. I love this.
We went from
Also,
arrow building to
dresses.
dress size.
to dress sizing.
Watch this stuff.
I will
too.
say this
About
Welch's.
7.2%.
This Welch's Grape Ghost, very good. One of the
Fire.
best.
This, what is this? The
That's cherry limeade
cherry
right there.
limeade? I don't know.
Yeah.
Cherry limeade gives it a run for its money.
Yeah.
But it
Great
does
Brooks
taste
Cafe
just
coffee.
like
I was
It
gonna say,
does,
have you
it
tried
does.
Brooks Cafe pumpkin?
Also
spice?
very fire. Very fire.
Try this one real quick.
Okay, oh, yeah. Okay, hold on. Let me. What is this? Pumpkin spice?
Yeah.
I
Sure.
had a seizure when I went to say pumpkin
I
spice,
heard
but
that.
here we go. Okay,
Try.
let me try it.
It'll go away before it dry out.
Oh, it's so good. It is good. Yeah.
So, do we want to actually create a public drinking game for James's phrases?
I think we should do that.
Have like a
Yeah, I think we
you
should
can
do that.
Download or click on and print off and have
We-
like check
There's
boxes.
only a handful. There's a
Yeah.
small.
I think for
booklet
pencil,
it.
I need to make
And
this
you got to
before
update it every
Pennsylvania
once in a
Tech.
while.
Yeah, it wouldn't be hard too. 'cause,
No.
I mean, there's
No.
I'm going to jump on Canva and put together a bingo
Yes.
card.
And whoever, and you could totally do a bingo card.
Oh, dude,
You already got pencils out on the course, so all you got to do is mark your bingo card off, too.
And it would actually
First
be a
one
really
wins,
fun
James buys
video
their drinks.
because David never stops filming, so he could just film me for an entire course nonstop. And then, like, every time I say one, it, like, puts a ding on the screen and someone's got to, like, take a shot or something. You'd be smoked by the end of 15 minutes.
For
Yeah.
sure.
Oh, yeah.
Happy fun bunch if that's your key word.
Oh, geez, Martha, you're going to be wasted by the end.
Like bad.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah.
A good
Oh,
group.
sure.
A good group, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
There's a lot of them.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's quite enjoyable.
It
It's very
is.
fun.
Thank you. Yeah.
He's a fun guy.
I am. What a cozy vibe by the fire last night, huh?
That was great.
It was, yeah.
Hey, let's talk real quick, just about how responsible and good of a boy I was compared to normal this weekend. Was I not
You-
pretty good?
You have been being a very good little boy.
See that?
I do appreciate it because you are a wild boy.
Yeah.
So sometimes, I just gotta.
You didn't even
Keep
have
me on the-
you didn't even have to
outside.
reel me in. I was just
No, you went to bed before me. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm maturing.
Yes, you did. You're
Maturing.
an old lady.
Went
How,
to bed at
how old are
9:30.
you?
25.
Okay. There's. So you're like, not in quite the young cool group that's over there. That's like our 20-year-olds or Jack. 21, Jack.
Yeah.
21. You're the middle
Just
of
right
the
in the
pack
middle.
right now.
Yep.
That's good.
I love
Okay.
the middle pack.
Did
Middle
you
pack.
go to
Good
college
age.
for what you do? I'm not gonna lie. So James did tell me who you were. I do a fairly okay job of like watching some content and seeing things that like
I'm not sure how you can't follow the archery industry and not have known who Ty was.
Well, I knew who he was, and I knew that he had a big social media and whatnot. But I guess
That's
I
it.
just
You're
never.
just popular.
Yeah.
Definitely not.
But then Brittnie was like, no, he does like really great, like cinematic, there's that word, like really quality stuff. And I'm like, how have I not watched most of his stuff then? Because James knows I differ from him. I like your type of
Aesthetic.
stuff. Yeah. And James loves the
Raw dog.
I do.
Yeah.
He likes a little
That's
grunge in his life.
Oh, I love it, dude.
Oh,
I
yeah,
can't-
you might as well wipe
Nah,
dirt on the
I
front
like
of the
it just
camera and it would be
nasty.
better.
You know? Yeah.
But so, did you go to college to film, like, to do film?
Basically,
So-
what's your background?
So I went to
Yeah.
college for 4 years.
That's the usual standard.
Yeah, 4 years in
College
college,
degrees.
but I didn't get my degree, so I can technically say
Oh.
I'm a college dropout. But
How the
Oh,
hell
there
did
you go,
get
cool.
it 4 years and you just didn't get the degree?
so I transferred schools my senior year, and some
Mm-hmm.
of my credits didn't roll over, and so I
Oh.
had like 3 or 4 classes left. And I was actually doing fishing content for 3 years whenever I was in school. So I
Uh-huh.
learned how to use a camera. I learned a little bit about social media,
So what were you working towards a degree in?
business administration,
Oh yeah, I have a partial
and
degree. Didn't get me anywhere.
so school was school, and I was like, okay, what am I going to do after school? I was like, I need
Mhm.
to figure out how to make money. Like, I guess business degree, you
That's
go
important.
work corporate. And I didn't want to do that. So I was like, okay, I know how to make videos, and I kind of know how to grow an Instagram account. So let me go to businesses and see if I can help them do that, like grow their Instagram, grow their social media. And so I started reaching out to people, offering them free work, and one thing kind of led to another, and I got connected with some really good clients.
Yeah.
And I started doing like social media management, social media marketing, videography.
Mhm.
And my senior year, I started that halfway through the year. And by the end of my senior year, I was making enough to where I was like, okay, I could just
Do this.
do this and not finish up school.
Yeah.
And so I went all in on that. And for the last 5 years, I've been like in the
doing that.
social media marketing space. And I feel like that has helped translate over to my content
Mhm.
because I have really good cameras. I know how to edit videos. I know how to put together
Fix people's cameras.
kind of make eye-catching content. And so that's
Yeah.
kind of how I got into it. And I've been doing
Okay.
archery content for about 2.5 years now.
Is
But
that how long you've also been shooting?
no, so I started shooting when I was like 6. And so I get a lot of crap on social media, actually. People are like, oh, you've never hunted in your life. But
Mm-hmm.
like I started hunting whenever I was 9. I killed my first deer when I was 9. I killed my first deer with a bow whenever I was 12.
Yeah.
And so I don't post as much hunting content as I would like to, but
Mhm.
it's also super, like people don't understand how hard it is to solo film and
I
create
literally
that
could not
content.
imagine.
Definitely tough.
Challenging.
Like I get out there and
You
I'm like,
understand
okay,
some, yeah?
screw the cameras. Like I just want to enjoy
wait.
hunting.
Yeah.
At the end of the
Focus on
day,
hunting.
you want to be successful, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're failing because of that aspect and you know you could succeed otherwise, it's hard to say, but I need to film this.
Yeah.
Like I've
Yeah.
gone on 2 different ones where it's like, all right, I'm going to film this, and the kill shot did not get filmed.
Yep. And that
Put
just
that
is what it
camera
is. Like, as much as you want it,
Yeah.
you know, there are times when I just can't keep up with James and I'm his filmer, you know, behind him. And he's like, nope, I'm going. And he just takes up the mountain. Like, if I get there, I get there and get the content. If I don't, I don't. But you'll just hear my heavy breathing.
Oh, that is pretty funny. Yeah.
But that is hard. But that's cool. You
Yeah.
know, I feel like similar when I started showing up in James's stuff, you know, we did not hunt from a young age. Like, we're adult hunters, you could call us, I guess.
Onset adult hunters.
Onset adult hunters. Is that the new phrase?
I
for
always
it?
thought that was like kind of a whack phrase.
Yeah,
Where
but we
it
were like
came
our young 20s.
It's just
And so I had been hunting and shooting for 10 years before I met James, or 9. And you come on the channel and everybody's like, James, you're doing such a good job teaching her.
Oh, yeah. There was a lot of those.
A lot of that in the
That's
beginning.
awesome.
I was like, man, does my form look like shit or something? Well, it did in the beginning.
Take this over for
But like they just assumed that you didn't know what you were doing and you were new to it.
Came at
And
me
it,
like,
sometimes your content just doesn't reflect what you do, like behind the scenes.
Yeah. I will say one thing though, and that's, I would say 90% of people who shoot bows So I would say probably 90% of the people here don't know a ton of the technical stuff when it comes to a bow, building arrows, tuning a bow. Like,
Josh raised his hand.
most people don't.
Yep.
Most people
Both
don't
hands.
know. And I'll
Yeah.
say I didn't learn how to tune a bow until 2 years ago. It was always pick my bow up, go shoot.
Mm-hmm.
My archery shop would take care of any problems
Yeah.
I had. And so I think with that in mind, it's like, if you are out there new to shooting, or you've been shooting for a while and you have no idea what any of this stuff is, that's okay. I think it's good to learn.
Yeah.
It's good to know how to work on your bow and
I've
stuff.
gotten to the point now where, like, if you're talking about it, I know what you're talking about on the bow, but could I go and do it myself or trust myself to do it myself?
Yeah.
Just go over to, across the country to this one over here, fly up north to this
Yeah.
one over here. But I think it is good if you can know enough to do it on the spot. Like, if you land and your bow's messed up, if you get out on a hunt and you drop it and you need to fix something, like, it's important because not everybody carries a backup bow with them.
Yeah.
I don't carry a backup bow with them myself. And so if you're out there and you're like, well, my hunt's ruined, when you could have just been able to potentially fix it yourself.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's the biggest fast forward button, basically, to get better at archery in general.
That's what I was
to
gonna-
understand
there's-
your gear, which is why I've tried really hard to
Mm-hmm.
get people to work on their own stuff, and don't be intimidated by it. It's not that hard, and making a bunch of videos that kind of show you
Yeah.
guys do,
Just give me
because those people get better at archery quicker than people that don't do that.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Avoiding it, not understanding when it's going wrong or why it's going wrong, just leaves you in this state of, well, no, just trust your gear and it's me.
There's
Yeah.
definitely
It's
two.
frequently
Oh,
not
and that-
you.
Yeah.
And if you could understand how your bow worked, you would realize it wasn't you. You'd fix it quicker. You'd be
Yep.
less afraid to go, just move your sight.
Yeah.
Don't sit there and go, no,
Amen.
it was me. It's like, just move your sight. You can move back.
And get less frustrated,
so-
because like 3 years ago I would do the same thing and I'd get frustrated, and the statement was just like, it's just you just gotta
There's definitely both sides of the argument. You hear a lot of people are like, well, that's what the professionals are for. That's what the pro shops are for. But what the point you're making, understanding your equipment grows your knowledge, makes you a better archer. It doesn't mean that you necessarily have to have your own bow shop inside your house. That's not realistic. Not everybody has that. But not being afraid to adjust your equipment, like at TAC 2 weeks ago, I was bumping my rest in the middle of the jack plank school.
and I would guarantee you probably see 1/80th of the people out there who would actually be willing to make that
handful.
adjustment.
And when we got back to
Mid-course.
the cabin, somebody, I won't name any names, but said to me, you did what on the course? You moved your rests on the course? I was like, abso-freaking-lutely. That shit was on. And it wasn't me.
Yeah.
Just don't be afraid if you know. That's the part. Like, the worst thing someone can do is not know what they don't know.
Yeah, I really wish there was a way in general for people to go in when they buy their bow to actually build it themselves with some assistance.
Yeah.
That would be really sweet. It's super time consuming, so that would be hard financially to do unless there was like a fee for it or something involved.
Yeah.
But it'd be the most beneficial thing you could possibly do, because you go through the process of assembling it and tuning it and walking you through it while it goes, so you would feel a little more comfortable going, hey, maybe this isn't me. Maybe it is actually this. I can check it because I did it once, right?
Yeah.
And that was the big thing from the elk immersion camps that we did, is everybody got to go through rebuilding the bow 3 times, because you had 3 people in your group and you're each rebuilding them and you're helping.
Yeah.
And by the time you get through the 3rd time, almost every one of them is confident enough to do it themselves without assistance.
Yeah.
That's
And then
a
it
huge
becomes
deal.
something that's not so scary anymore.
Exactly.
And that's, I think, the biggest part about it is it's not something to necessarily be afraid of if you take a little bit of time to learn what you're doing. Just a little bit.
It's terrifying though if you don't know what you're doing,
Yeah.
and it throws you into a very mental spiral almost.
Yep.
If you don't know what you're doing and you start tweaking your bow and you have no idea what you're tweaking, and you're like, okay, well, I can't even hit the target now.
Well,
Yeah.
that's what making connections is good for. And I'm not talking about everybody's got to go out and make, YouTube connections, but like just make a connection with your local bow shop, so you're not afraid to ask for some advice on what you're doing when you're working on your own equipment.
Yeah.
Because once you know, like, then it's less scary.
Yeah.
But it is at first, you're right.
I tell people when they're like, I want to get into bow hunting or shooting a bow, I tell them, go to your shop and ask
David, which one?
all the questions you have. Like, don't be afraid to ask. I think some people are afraid to look like a newbie, or
most people are afraid to do that.
Yeah.
A lot of people would go to, like, say there's a local guy in the area that works on his own stuff, but he's not a shop.
I
10
do.
times
I'm
more likely
waiting
to go ask that person advice than they are to walk into the store, because nobody wants to look stupid. The best thing you can possibly do is be willing to look like an idiot.
I literally go stand behind the counter now right next to them as they work on the bow.
Yeah, my experience.
Some shops are
of
weird about
all
that.
this
Yeah.
over the years, because I've been building people's bows for almost 40 years now. The most beneficial thing it taught me is when I walk into something that I don't know, the first thing I do is walk up to the person and say, treat me like I'm an idiot. I don't know what I'm doing and I want to learn.
Mm-hmm.
It's the best thing you can do. Be humble. Don't be afraid to look stupid.
Got that, James?
Just say,
I am a humble
no,
popper.
even when I do know,
Started from the
I
bottom.
literally still tell them, treat me like I'm stupid and I don't know. Because I want to really learn. And there's something I might have missed,
Mm-hmm.
even if I feel confident in it, that they're going to tell me that I'm going to go, oh, cool, I get that. Because you have to have more of a desire to get better at something than to look stupid.
Yeah.
Just be willing to look stupid.
Well,
Yeah.
Benefit you so much.
Well, we did that video on the virtue when you kind of walked me through it, and since
I've
that,
never seen you look nervous in my life other than that.
right.
Like, you
But-
always ooze confidence, but you look at me like, what?
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
I'm
no,
building my own bow.
But I'll tell you something cool about it is, like, from that one time we did that video, the other day we're at, I think it was like Easter or some shit. We're at my parents' house and my brother's lady wanted to shoot a bow, and I was like, well, none of these bows would work. And I was like, well, wait a minute, my dad's bow is 60-pound limbs. I can get her back to where she can pull it, and I can just change the draw length right there. And I changed it to where it fit her, and I lowered the poundage, and boom, I got her a bow that was working. And I wouldn't have done it. There's no way I would have done it had we.
Make you do it the first time.
Exactly. And I was like, it's so easy just to flip the thing around and get it 26 inches from 30, and then I just moved it back for my dad. But to your point, had we not have done that, I wouldn't have done it, and she wouldn't have been able to shoot that day. So that's a perfect example, I think, of why it's nice to have some sort of knowledge, you know, and yeah, so.
Yeah, there's definitely there's such a learning curve increase by doing it. It just is. You can watch the people that are willing to do it versus not, and how much better they get quicker.
Yeah.
So if you really want to get good at archery, work on your own stuff. Period. There's no way around it, which is why I've been saying that as long as I have. And it's scary to shops, right? They're afraid that you're not going to need them anymore, right?
Yeah.
So they don't want to share those things. So they don't want to do that. And it's the complete opposite. If you learn how to work on your own stuff and start working on your own stuff, you then become the voice of that community for the people who are afraid.
Yep.
Oh, go talk to him first, and then you're going to turn around, educate him a little bit, and then walk him into the store and go, here's where you should be buying your stuff. These people will take care of you. They know what you're doing. Don't be afraid to ask them a question.
Yeah.
It's the fastest way to grow a community, and that's why we've grown so much.
Yeah.
It's just like growing reach, like, you know, growing reach on social media. It's the same exact thing. You're extending that reach for every person who's working on their own stuff. Their reach then extends to new people who are asking those questions, and then they come back to that same shop, and then the process starts all over for them, and then their reach goes to this, you know, community, and then so on and so forth, and it just is a tumble effect. Well, but they're scared that, like, I don't understand why they're scared, because, like, they're never going to come back in. They're going to bring someone new who wants a bow now because they were able to let them play with their bow or whatever.
Well, and I think that, like, when you were talking about you go behind the counter at your bow shop, your local bow shop, certainly ask permission, you know.
Obviously, yeah, we have a different relationship,
But-
so I'll just go.
Going behind our counter.
And there,
stores.
right, there are some shops, yes,
But
who
you
are,
can stand right there and watch us.
I'll cut behind
Station,
Bruce's
you can be right
counter.
in front of it.
right. So when we say, you know, get in there and learn from your bow techs, it doesn't mean just walk behind their counters. Most
For
of them
sure.
are pretty high end. That's a big no. But like what James did was a perfect example of one experience he had with you allowed him to have the knowledge to introduce one more person. Like what Brianna's saying, who could introduce, like they just had a baby. You know, they could introduce their child.
You
And
bet
when you
Bowen's
think
gonna have
about
a
the tight niche of the archery community and how that relates like to even smaller percentage of hunters, because there are a lot of archers who are not hunters.
Yeah.
And that community, when it comes to laws, legislations, like we need more voters. So we need to be encouraging people. So the more knowledge
James
you have
harps
to
on this
share,
all the time because
Yep.
his channel is geared towards those people. You
less
know, like it's not
crapping
a
on
hunting
people
channel.
and more supporting and encouraging.
Totally.
Yes.
Yes.
I would say, so I get a lot of comments on my social media, like, oh, you don't hunt, like, stop shooting a bow. And I'm like, my goal with my channel isn't to make hunting content or to inspire people to hunt. All I care about is someone picking up a bow and having a good time and going out and shoot, enjoying just shooting a bow. And I hunt, but that doesn't mean that you have to go hunt. Like, you can just pick up a bow and go shoot. Like, it's the best form of therapy there is, in my opinion.
But let's make sure it's like a positive environment, you know?
Yeah.
I totally agree. I mean, I've always been, sure, we do have some hunts on the channel, quite a few actually, but I've always said, like, I just want, same exact thing Ty just said, is like, I just want people to have a lot of fun whether or not they choose to hunt, because I love to just shoot all the time, you know, and I think that it's a great hobby and just really good. So why not get more people into it and just show that it can be a good time, you know? Like, one of the things I think next year I'm going to, like, obviously the past year, my growth strategy has been largely based on collaboration, so we kind of really dove into that. But next year, I think I really want to start doing some, like, more high-end competitions. Indoor, go to Reading, stuff like this, ASAs maybe, and just be lit. Because I've heard at those, people are kind of wet towels, and I'm like, okay, I'll go make that shit fun too, you know what I mean?
James just might get disqualified.
I might, but I'm going to give it a try because, you know, I love to compete, number one, and want to see what we can do. But I think going in and just being an absolute chaotic riot out there would be pretty fun. So
Oh, dude, it would be
that's kind of
so
my
awesome.
plan. But we'll see. But that's in my head what I want to do.
It would be so awesome.
I definitely think that would do well.
Yeah, I do
I
too.
really do. I think that would do really well.
Yeah, and
wanna
also,
make
I think you're going to get less resistance to it than you think.
I think so too. But another cool part about it is, like, I always think of, you know, obviously, if I get into Target really heavy for like a year, it's a whole new audience too, introduced to the channel, you know. And we did a little bit with Paige, obviously brought in a Target audience, but like to really dive in and do the shoots, I think would be pretty sick. So that's like something I'm very interested in doing.
It would be next level content.
Yeah, for sure. It'll just be a ruckus, dude. That's what I want it to be.
I want to make you the most obnoxious jersey.
Oh,
you know,
me too.
like, it'll have your sponsors on there, but like I'm gonna put some like also ridiculous stuff on there. You know, it's like I don't even know, but it's just gonna not make any sense at all.
From the mud flap tires.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just
Yes.
redneck and NASCAR is what I'm looking for.
Oh man, that would be hilarious.
All my logos and just leather patches just all over the outfit is so crazy.
Oh.
Or like
so
a
sick.
motocross jersey with the pants too. You know,
Yeah.
like a full moto kit.
People are gonna see you walking and be like,
Yeah,
what the
yeah.
hell is this?
Yeah, but that'll be fun. So,
No umbrella, no chair, nothing.
David, what time we at?
Probably. Well, they close the gates at noon.
3 more minutes. Okay.
Dude, there was one thing I wanted to dive in
Okay.
to if we have enough
Let's do
time.
it. Let's hit it.
I
And
think-
then last subject, huh? And then we'll close it. I'm
Last-
just gonna cut
last
this
subject?
part off.
Perfect.
All right.
So I think it's really cool to get around guys like you, obviously content creators and stuff.
That ego is just growing.
And
Yeah, keep
well,
buttering me up. Ty.
this
Thank
is
you.
actually supposed to be anti-ego, but
Oh, nice. Okay,
um,
keep going.
but so all the guys I've hung around with, like you, Josh Bomar, like people see you guys on camera, and they obviously see you as like this like celebrity type figure, influencer type figure. And when you actually get around you guys, it's just like hanging out with the boys. And
Okay.
I think a lot of people on social media think that guys like you who make awesome videos are just oozing to the teeth, like with money from social media and stuff. But they don't realize how much work goes behind the social
Yeah.
media and how little money is made behind
At
that.
all.
And
they
so-
do not see it.
So I wanted to bring that up to like shed some light on that, because I think people have these false misconceptions.
Mm.
They see all the stuff on social media and think you're making so much money from it. And obviously there's a net value from having social media. Like you see a net value to your archery shops, but you're not
100%.
just making hundreds of thousands of dollars from your social media
I
video
spend
views.
more on my cameraman than I make on social media.
Mhm.
Yep.
And that's not accounting for all my equipment, all my gear, all the stuff that I test, etc.
And before that, when you were editing yourself, you know,
Yep.
like,
Yeah,
The
what's my
time
time
that goes
worth?
into that.
Oh
Yeah,
my
what's your
God,
time
yeah.
worth?
No,
Well-
it's a losing proposition if you're just trying to make it on that.
It
Yeah.
is.
yeah.
Yeah. So
Oh, she's ready. Brittnie
so
is
I
firing.
was full-
I'm
so I was-
excited.
So I was full bore real estate, right? Until last year is when I decided to take the Bow Disciples brand full steam, right? And I didn't I always make the joke of that I have a lot of unpaid staff, which is true. And now it's like I'm able to give back to the staff a lot more because I never had any money until recently. And now I do, but it took 6 years of grinding, editing thousands of videos, growing a website, having Brianna help design cool merch, running a cool event, partnering with great sponsors, and ad revenue growing is a piece of it that I think a lot of people don't acknowledge, but it's a real thing. All of those things, though, add up. If I only did one of them, I wouldn't make any money. But all of them combined can add up to a pretty good total, but it's not going to happen overnight. I was fully independent for 5 years. I didn't even do a product sponsorship because my mindset all along from my bike riding career was that I wanted to build the brand very large first and then align with brands that fit what I wanted to do. And also the contracts were what I was looking for. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think it's a journey, and I think that it's definitely possible. If I can do it, anyone can do it. I mean, no one watched our videos for 4 years, really. And then all of a sudden, people started to watch them and just connecting with it. But there's so much more to it than just pumping out videos. But what I will say is that without the videos, none of the other stuff works. We don't have an event with 400 people here without the videos. We don't have a website that does good money if we don't do the videos, and we definitely don't have sponsorships if we don't do the videos. So to me, content is always king, and I never neglect it. So I do still to this day edit everything. And I mean, I'm pumping out usually 2 shorts a day, and I post them on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, plus 2 full-length videos every single week, and I never stop.
Yeah.
And that's it. There's no secret sauce to it. I mean, sure, I think some people are more blessed with maybe a more fun personality to watch or more talent. That's a real thing.
She's sitting next to you.
Some people are good on camera and some people aren't.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
But the effort and the grind, to Ty's point, it just takes time, but to me, it's worth it.
I wanted to speak to this topic, and then you said what you said. I was like, well, maybe I won't, but I will. In not exactly to the to speak in the matter of money and confidence, but the character persona that some people perceive when they're watching these videos, and like you said, the videos are necessary, but it's remembering that because I've known some people who have watched your videos and they've been like, that guy's too much, he's this or that, and the thing is that
That's true.
he is a lot, but when you also off camera, when you're here,
He's also a lot.
He's also a lot.
he is a lot, but what he's doing is giving back. It's growing the community. To speak to you as a person. Once I met James for real, Brianna had been dating him for several years, 2 years before I actually met James.
She's just giving it away constantly. It's a bit we've been running for 4 years now that nobody knows if we're actually together or not. And you just blew it up on multiple podcasts.
People don't know that?
No, I think
They do pretty much at this point, but we still get a lot of comments that are
oh.
They know now.
Yeah.
They know now.
I certainly hope they knew. But anyways, by the time I finally met James, and they actually lived in separate houses to give a bit of the illusion back.
Yeah.
James was the chillest, most supportive, encouraging person on the course. He's still a ball of energy.
Oh, yeah.
That's just who he is. He's still a human being.
Right.
And so I think that people maybe watch videos and they build these people up to be can I even approach that person? They're, full of money and confidence. We're still just people. We're just people out to encourage other people and be good people. So,
And let me add to that.
Perfect.
So the reality of that situation for people who are afraid to come up and talk to you, right? Well, here's the reality. If that person's authentically who they are,
mm-hmm.
they're going to want you to come up and talk to them.
Yep.
So if you and you should be able to experience that without worry or fear. Now, if you go up and talk to somebody and it feels awkward, they feel like they're trying to leave or they're not trying to interact with you, that person's not really who they are. And then you learn what that person really is. and it'll help benefit who you should be looking up to and who you should, because we're all authentic people. I mean, I don't know Ty, but I'm willing to bet he is.
I think he seems authentic.
Authentic.
Genuinely,
I know for a fact
just like
this
his
is
content.
exactly who he is on or off the camera. And y'all know me. I'm the same guy on and off the camera. I'm no different.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So go up and talk to those people.
That's
You'll
important.
get to know who they are better, and then you'll have a better idea of who you should be looking up to and who you should.
And for me, that's important. Actually, that's like a big reason why I like to do this event and go to TAC, because I love to mingle with people.
You're a mingler.
And I know you do too. And like
we're always the two that people are trying to get to leave.
Oh, of course, yeah. You can't get me to
You're
leave
not gonna get me to leave.
unless it's pouring rain and my camera's getting blasted. But other than that,
yeah, that was the first time I went to one where we didn't like hang out for a
I
long
know.
periods of time.
Yeah.
I was bummed about it, but
we did what we could, you know. But yeah, I mean, to me, it's so important because I have so much respect, and I'm so grateful to everyone that's supported the channel and the brand for all these years, that I love to get to mingle in person, you know, and to me, that's really important. So I will at TAC. I'll just stand in the vendor area and talk to people. And even if I see someone looking at me, I can tell they want to talk to me, but are maybe scared, I'll just go up to them because like, I want to make sure I can meet people and, you know, build an in-person connection.
Yeah, at the end of the day, the content is made for them. Like, you're doing all of this for those people.
Correct. Yep. And you know what? I hate to just pull an abrupt plug, but I'm going to... That almost sounded like I said something else. But anyway, we're going to cut this pod off. Appreciate Ty. I'm a big Ty Jordan fan. I can say that now.
It's a really cool name.
It's a really cool name. I met Ty one time.
Does Ty stand for something?
When did I meet
It's
you?
just Ty.
I met you in
Last year at TAC.
at TAC in Utah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I met Ty one time, but this is the first time we really got to hang out. So, good guy. Be sure to check him out. Of course, Josh Legend as well, and Brittnie Jean Outdoors. She'll probably change the name here in a couple weeks, 13 more times. So anyway, you check out our videos. And Brianna, the glue that holds it all together.
Yeah.
And we'll see you in the next podcast. Appreciate y'all.